What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here's Legitical Response. We cover political news. Now, I thought that Kamala Harris was going to try to pick somebody that was a little bit more moderate, right? Like, get this. Think about this for a second. Okay, now that Kamala Harris has picked Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, as her running mate, now that she has done that, Donald Trump is the most moderate candidate in this race. The most moderate. Right? J.D. Vance is a hardcore conservative. I'm not going to call him far right because, to be honest with you, far right these days, especially coming from the corporate press, just is meaningless these days. Everything to them is far right if you're not far left. Right? But who would have thought that Donald Trump would be the most moderate candidate in a race? That is insane to me, right? It is insane that she picked this person, right? Like, the Trump campaign is outright rejoicing at this because they know this guy he's just he's like the insane of insane liberals, like Democrats, just insane leftists. I'm not going to besmirch liberal name by calling him a liberal because he is definitely a leftist. He's a communist socialist that really needs to rethink his life strategy, to be honest with you. This guy is insane. Kamala Harris is insane. I think these people want to destroy this country. That's what I honestly believe. And not like burn everything to the freaking ground. But they want communism. That's what I believe. They want to try to push this socialism, Marxist BS on everybody. And that is not what the United States is about, folks. This election coming up is one of the most important elections ever. And I know that sounds hyperbolic, sounds rhetorical, because you hear that every single freaking election. But think about it in 2020. You heard that a lot in 2020, the most consequential election of your lifetime. And think about where we're at now. That is why you've got all this garbage coming out of the Biden administration. The just refusal to abide by the Constitution. The refusal to abide by law and order and, stay within the lanes and just work within the guardrails of the Constitution, essentially. They want to work outside the guardrails of the Constitution, trying to figure out how to have vax mandates, for crying out loud, trying to figure out how to give student debt relief. Even though the Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that, they do it anyway. And think about this insanity here for a second, right? So the federal government, who is charged with securing our borders, refuses to do so, right? And then when a state, Texas, as a matter of fact, gets tired of all these people coming across incursions into our country, coming across into Texas, they decide, hey, we're going to do something to help the federal government. We're going to make a law that gives the authority to our local police officers to arrest people that are here illegally. Yeah, they have the authority to arrest these people and turn them over to ICE. So they write up a law. And guess what? The Biden administration is suing Texas over this, spending your tax dollars to sue Texas, to make it possible to where they don't have to abide by federal regulations. That is insane to me. And this is another reason, another check in the box on the list of reasons why I call Democrats insane. To actually spend taxpayer dollars to fight to have an unsecured border. That is what they're doing. That is insane to me. And then they give these people, I could rant on for that. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to get into the video. And I've already went like almost freaking 5 minutes without even reading the headline. So let's get into this right quick, y'all. Harris VP picked Tim Walz excoriated over socialist and far left positions. This is insane, y'all. Walz, a consistently reliable progressive, faced immediate scrutiny from conservatives for his record and public statements. In an interview, the second-term governor backed socialist policies and equated socialism with modern American progressivism, stating,
"But we can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Yeah, now I tell you guys all the time, yeah, we have a communist wing in the Democrat Party, and these people are in power. They've been quietly just seeping into powerful positions over the past, 10, 15 years, I guess. Something like that. These people are insane, y'all. Like, socialism is communism. There's no way around it. And neighborliness, for crying out loud, really? Neighborliness? No, I'm sorry. Let's keep going because we got some rebuttal coming up. Joey Mugenot, I'm sorry if I messed that up, a conservative political strategist replied, "Socialism is not caring for your neighbor. That would be charity. Governments don't do charity. They take and redistribute. Without big cities and governments, handouts, these morons would never get elected." Wow, that's funny. Walz also faced criticism for his immigration policies. He has supported making Minnesota a sanctuary state for undocumented immigrants or criminal aliens, signed legislation allowing them to receive driver's licenses, and told CNN's Anderson Cooper that he would invest in ladders to help migrants climb the wall at the U.S.-Mexico border. That's insane. Among other progressive policies, Walz has signed a bill enshrining abortion under state law, pushed for Minnesota to convert to 100% renewable energy by 2040, which is insane. We've covered that at length on this channel. Signed legislation establishing automatic voter registration, which also allows individuals ages 16 to 17 to pre-register to vote so their names will appear on rolls when they turn 18. That's crazy. Why? Why would they want people automatically signed up? What if these people never vote? Why register, right? Like, I mean, we could get into that one. Like, it's kind of okay, but then again, it's kind of not, because you can see where there's areas for abuse with that. Not saying that they would, just saying that, hey, the door's open. In January, Walz faced backlash for approving a controversial redesign of the state flag, which some opponents argue resembles the flags of Somalia and Puntland, whatever that is, a self-declared autonomous region in Somalia. Minnesota is home to the largest Somali community in the United States. Yeah, that was a big controversy a while back, and it does look like the Somali flag. As a matter of fact, I got a picture of it. Why would you do that? Why would you do that right there? Why would you change your state flag to resemble a Somali flag? You know, it's not coincidence, by the way. Like the article says, they've got the largest Somali population in the country. So that was done intentionally to pander to these people. That is what that was. At the time, Walz dismissed the criticism, stating, "While Republicans talk about this, I am going to be making sure our kids are eating and we're creating jobs. So they can debate it in the legislature. We will see where it goes. But I think anytime change comes, a lot of Minnesotans, where they look, our flag looks like 19 other states." Whatever, dude. Conservatives have reignited the flag debate following Walz's addition to the presidential ticket with Harris. One of the most widespread criticism of Walz stems from his handling of the 2020 riots in Minnesota following George Floyd's death while in police custody. After images circulated of Officer Derek Chauvin with his knee on Floyd, protests erupted in the city, resulting in shootings, looting, vandalism, and arson. Walz activated the National Guard but declined to deploy military police. Yeah, and he was a day late. He was actually hesitating. As a matter of fact, check this out.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has faced heavy criticism for how he handled the unrest following the death of George Floyd. And as John Crowan reports, the mayor now appears to be shifting some of that blame to Governor Tim Walz.
The question has never been, did the National Guard make a difference? It's always been, why couldn't they have been here sooner, before the 3rd Precinct burned Thursday, May 28th?
I think the average person maybe assumes that there's soldiers waiting in helicopters to drop in like they do in the movies.
Governor Walz responding to a trove of emails and text messages released in response to a public records request from City Hall, backing up that Mayor Jacob Fry did indeed ask for the National Guard Wednesday, May 27th. Text from mayor's staff. The mayor just came out and said the chief wants to call in the National Guard to help the 3rd Precinct. A follow-up text exchange from Fry's staff a few hours later. What's happening as far as the Guard? He said Walz was hesitating.
Putting a young troop with limited experience in the military with a loaded automatic weapon in the middle of a system with nobody giving them direction. They don't have zip ties. They don't have legal authority.
A press release was drafted that night to announce the request, but was never sent. A formal request went out by letter Thursday morning, the 28th. The Guard did arrive that day, but was assigned to other missions while waiting for more direction from Minneapolis.
We never got such mission assignment. We never got such mission description.
On Friday, the 29th, the Guard commander explained why his soldiers and airmen needed more specific orders, but the governor also called the Minneapolis response to the riots a failure.
That is an abject failure that cannot happen.
Mayor Fry is a friend of mine. I trust him. These were difficult situations. I think some of the critiques leveled at the mayor have come from areas where people don't know the complexity of this.
We're sure to hear a lot more about all of this. John Croman, KARE 11 News.
He's been a disaster for Minnesota and is by far the most partisan governor that I can remember having. Minnesota GOP Chairman David Hahn said during an interview last week, going back to 2020 certainly, he did nothing to try to stop the riots going on in Minneapolis. I think he was fearful of alienating his progressive base who were supporting the riots. Kamala Harris was raising money for the rioters. As a matter of fact, she was. Now, the left and Democrats that are trying to deny this. Right? They're coming out with fact checks. Oh, well, she never actually gave money to this GoFundMe or whatever that she created. Right? They leave that part out. She created this GoFundMe or this fundraising website that you can donate money to. But she never donated money herself, y'all. Yeah, but she started it and she was asking people to donate to this, to get these violent rioters out of jail. Yeah, that's insane. She was also behind the defund the police movement, which they're trying to come out and lie about that as well. But we need to push that point home. We need to keep reminding people that, yes, Kamala Harris, your Democratic presidential nominee, the candidate, was behind all of these policies. Defund the police and created a website to bail these people out of jail, to bail violent rioters, insurrectionists out of jail. And they were definitely insurrectionists. But you won't hear the corporate press calling that. Oh, no. Definitely you won't hear them calling that. But if you go look up the definition of insurrection, they were definitely insurrectionists. But you don't hear people like Jamie Raskin calling those people insurrectionists, which, by the way, I've got a clip. This is outright insane. I think I'm going to go ahead and kill this story because I want to talk about this.
Constitutionalizing Jim Crow. And then it's not until the Warren Court for a couple of decades with the white primary cases and Brown versus Board where you get a different kind of Supreme Court on the side of the freedoms and equality of the American people. But the court is not going to save us. And so that means the only thing that really works is people in motion, amending the Constitution. But again, it's necessary, but it's not sufficient because what can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress, so it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job. And
that is one of the most insane rants I think I've ever heard. It may sound innocuous to you, but when you listen to what he's saying, he is basically saying to throw the Constitution away, that when Trump gets elected in November, that come January 6, 2025, Congress needs to basically not certify the election and say he's disqualified. He can't be president. That is an outright declaration of war. That's a declaration of an insurrection to go against the will of the people. That is insane to me. I cannot believe he would just come out and say that. But once again, now do you believe me? Now do you guys believe me that Democrats are outright insane? What Trump was trying to do was actually legitimate. It may have been a little bit kind of far out there, like he kind of reaching on it, right, to not certify the state's electors that were sent in, that were still in dispute. Yeah, that's legal to do, by the way, but it's a little bit out there, like, okay, sure, whatever, they were still in dispute, but the governor sent them in anyway. But what he is actually trying to say is that no, even if Trump wins, we're going to say he's disqualified. We have to be Supreme Court, essentially. We say who gets elected and who does not. That's why these people hate Donald Trump so much. They are willing to violate the law, violate the Constitution, violate your vote as the American person to say that you cannot have this person in power anymore. We've heard it from Democrats for ever since Donald Trump became president. Even Joe Biden said we need to find ways under legitimate efforts of the Constitution that he won't come back into power. These people are insane. They don't care about the will of the people. They don't care about law and order. They don't care about the Constitution. That is what that is. That is what he is saying. That they are going to try to refuse to certify the electors. That's what he is saying. That is insane to me. And he can't get away with that. I'm sorry. There's no way he can do that. I don't understand why he even said that, because they don't have the majority right now. You have to have a majority to be able to do that, by the way. And that is an outright insurrection. At least Trump had some sort of legitimate means for doing this. They don't. They don't whatsoever. If they try to pull a stunt like that, they need to be arrested for treason, for crying out loud. That is insane. I don't know how many times I can say it. I'm going to try to not say that and try to say other stuff. But that's just the craziest thing to me. How can they do this? Right? And then you got these far left progressives. They don't care about law. They don't care. If Donald Trump wins, he is basically outright calling for civil war. Really, dude? Get everybody bodyguards because it's going to be war? That's a declaration of war. How does he know? Like, he's basically asserting that, right? Like, get that for a second. Let's break this down. Break this down a little bit. So, why would they need bodyguards in the first place? If Trump wins, they're not going to be rioting, for crying out loud. You're not going to have a bunch of Trump supporters rioting. No. That's what, initially, when you hear that, that's what you would think. That, hang on, well, he's talking about getting guards because Trump supporters are going to be rioting at the Capitol. Well, hang on, though. He's talking about not certifying the electors if Trump wins. Now, why would Trump supporters riot at the Capitol? Why would he need bodyguards? Yeah, you see where this is going. Why? You see where this is going. He's trying to start a war. He knows when they don't certify that, yeah, you're going to have some issues. You're going to go against the will of the people, and people are going to be pissed. People are going to be very pissed, because if Donald Trump legitimately wins the election and Democrats try to subvert democracy, that's just going to be outright insane. And once again, you know, now that I've heard this video, now that I've caught this clip, I fully expect them to try to do something like that. I fully believe they will. You know, a year ago, before I started doing YouTube, you know, even 6 months ago, I would think, well, no, that's a little bit extreme. I don't think they would actually do that. But now all these news articles I've read and stuff that Democrats do, just thing after thing after thing that goes against law and order, that goes against the Constitution, that goes against judicial norms, for crying out loud, trying to delegitimize the Supreme Court because they don't rule in such a way that is apathetic to you. And you know, I had somebody leave a comment calling me insane. You know, I might link this video to that person to show them I'm not the insane person here. As a matter of fact, I do believe, and I could be wrong, let me know down in the comments, but I seem to be a very rational, logical person. But what I'm seeing coming from Democrats scares the hell out of me. Right? I don't want to see Joe Biden fighting with Texas, for crying out loud, over securing our southern border. That's nuts. Right? I don't want to see the DOJ suing other states, right? Republican states suing the Biden administration for trying to shut down coal-fired power plants, for trying vax mandates, student loan relief, you know, withholding weapons shipments, for crying out loud. Like, I could care less about that, to be honest with you. I don't think we need to be intervening in all these foreign wars, but, you know, that's a whole different topic. But, you know, and everything I've been seeing coming from the Democrats just blows my freaking mind. It really does. Have they always been doing this? Because, like I always tell people, you know, I didn't pay attention to politics until the last few years, until Donald Trump lost in 2020 and all those indictments started coming down the pipeline. That's when I really started paying attention to politics. I was in there for Trump in 2020, sure. Yeah. But I didn't vote for him in 2016. I didn't care, to be honest with you. I just went to work, did my thing, and went home. That's all I did. I didn't care about politics. Don't want to get involved. But once I start seeing all this insanity going on, and once again, like I said, when I started seeing those indictments coming down from Trump, that immediately triggered me to think, did I back the wrong guy? You know, after January 6th, I was like, oh, man, this ain't good. You know, this is terrible for Trump. Started looking into it, started looking into everything. And then the indictments, and I just started seeing all this insanity coming down. Started reading these cases on Donald Trump and realizing, hang on, this is wrong. This shouldn't even be a thing. What are they doing? And that's when I started reading the news. And once I started reading the news, yeah, that's when I started seeing all the lies of the corporate press, y'all. And it's just insanity. More and more and more insanity. And that's when I figured I had to do something. I have to get on YouTube. Even though I'm not reaching very many people, I don't care. I'm just going to continue to do my thing until I do reach more and more and more people. Because eventually I will. I can assure you of that. I will grow beyond where I'm at now. That's certain. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Is this just not some of the most insane crap coming from Democrats that you can just think of? Just utter insanity. Try not to say that so much, but it really is. There's no better word for it than that, because it's just crazy. There you go. That's all I got for this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. Y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.